Japan isn't just the land of mysterious samurai, graceful geisha, and blooming cherry blossoms. It's also home to one of the most iconic and enduring criminal organizations in the world, the Yakuza. These syndicates are famous for their deep historical roots, strict codes of honor, and traditions that trace back to the samurai era. Today's Yakuza aren't only involved in classic street-level crimes like extortion, murder, and drug trafficking inside Japan. They operate as sophisticated multinational corporations with tentacles reaching into finance, politics, real estate, entertainment, and global investment. In this video, we're going to dive deep into how Japanese gangsters actually live, how powerful and dangerous the Yakuza really are in the modern world, and why they still hold such a unique place in Japanese society.
The story of the Yakuza begins in the Edo period under the Tokugawa shogunate, roughly in the 17th century. After centuries of civil war ended and Tokugawa Ieyasu unified the country, peace finally arrived. Suddenly, hundreds of thousands of samurai became redundant. Many turned into ronin, masterless warriors wandering the land without purpose or income. To survive, some fell into crime, robbery, extortion, running illegal gambling dens. These men began forming loose bands known as tekiya, street peddlers who often cheated customers, and bakuto, professional gamblers. It was in the bakuto world that the famous yubitsume ritual, cutting off part of the little finger, first appeared as a way to atone for failure or betrayal. These groups became refuges for society's outcasts, orphans, the jobless, the disgraced. Over time, the loose gangs evolved into structured families with clear hierarchies built around the oyabun-kobun, father-child relationship. Interestingly, these early groups weren't purely destructive. Many towns and merchants hired them to protect against worse bandits. This gave the proto-Yakuza a certain legitimacy and elevated their status in the eyes of ordinary people. By the mid-19th century, they had gained control over construction labor markets and day labor hiring, huge economic sectors at the time. They positioned themselves as reliable lenders, local enforcers, and protectors of the poor. The government rarely declared them outright criminal organizations. It only cracked down when public disorder became too obvious. During the Meiji era, late 19th, early 20th century, Yakuza even began holding official positions in prefectural administrations, sometimes elected by locals as their representatives. Organized crime had become deeply embedded in Japanese society. The real golden age came after World War II. Japan was devastated, cities in ruins, economy collapsed, millions unemployed, black markets everywhere. The U.S. occupation brought new chaos. Yakuza recruiters targeted demobilized soldiers, repatriated POWs, and desperate young men. Group sizes exploded, from a typical pre-war oyabun with maybe 50 kobun to syndicates with hundreds or thousands of members. New ranks appeared: wakagashira, young boss; shategashira, assistant young boss, and many more layers of middle management.
By the 1950s-60s, during Japan's economic miracle, Yakuza membership peaked at around 185,000 across 107 major organizations, the highest number ever recorded. When prostitution was banned in 1956, they quickly took over that market too. Even as Japan became wealthy and stable, the syndicates kept growing. In the 1990s, membership began to decline, not because they lost power, but because they went corporate. They deepened ties with international crime networks, laundered money through legitimate businesses, and adapted to globalization. Today, the Yakuza don't see themselves as mere criminals. They call themselves Ninkyo Dantai, chivalrous organizations. Many ordinary Japanese still view them as modern-day Robin Hoods or the last guardians of samurai values. Yakuza have a long record of disaster relief. After the 1995 Kobe earthquake, the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, and even during the early COVID-19 shortages in 2020, they delivered food, water, blankets, masks, and supplies faster than the government in some areas. They canceled internal events to focus on helping victims. This isn't just PR, it's part of the image they cultivate.
The word Yakuza itself comes from a losing hand in the Hanafuda card game, Yakuza 893, which adds up to 20, but scores 0 because of the rule that ends in 3. It means good for nothing, or worthless people, the outcasts who banded together. Clan names usually follow a pattern. First part is the founder's family name or birthplace, Yamaguchi, Inagawa, Sumiyoshi. Second part is gumi, group, kai, association, or ika, family. The structure is strictly hierarchical, modeled on the traditional Japanese family. At the top is the oyabun, father, boss. Below him are kobun, children, divided into senior and junior brothers. Key positions include Saiko Komon, supreme advisor, Wakagashira, young head, Shate Gashira, assistant young head, Wakachu, mid-level managers, regular members and new recruits at the bottom. The Oyabun-Kobun bond is sealed with the Sakazuki ceremony, sharing sake cups in front of a Shinto altar. The amount of sake poured reflects status, more for the superior. Women, especially wives of high-ranking members, play important roles too. The wife of an Oyabun often manages internal affairs, advises, and can even take temporary command if her husband is arrested or killed. The most famous ritual is yubitsume, cutting off the tip of the left little finger with a tanto knife and hammer as atonement for mistakes. The severed piece, wrapped in cloth, is presented to the boss. Many members now wear prosthetic fingertips to hide the missing joints.
Full-body irizumi tattoos are another hallmark. Traditionally done with bamboo needles, they cover the back, arms, and legs with dragons, koi carp, cherry blossoms, tigers, and mythological figures, each carrying deep symbolic meaning. Getting a full suit can take years and is seen as proof of loyalty and endurance. The three biggest syndicates today are Yamaguchi-gumi, by far the largest, founded in Kobe in 1915, once led by the legendary Kazuo Taoka, godfather of godfathers. At its peak, it controlled hundreds of subgroups and tens of thousands of members. Sumiyoshi Kai, second largest, more of a loose confederation of semi-independent groups. Inagawa Kai, powerful in Tokyo and Yokohama, historically strong in gambling and later in legitimate businesses. Modern Yakuza avoid petty street crime. Muggings and random violence are considered beneath them. Instead, they focus on high-profit activities, corporate extortion, sokaya, construction bid rigging, real estate schemes, stock manipulation, underground banking, drug importation, especially methamphetamine, human trafficking, and sex industry control. They also run legal fronts, entertainment companies, talent agencies, waste disposal, port logistics, boxing promotions, and more.
Japan's anti-Yakuza laws have tightened dramatically since the 1990s, and especially after 2011. Police now pressure businesses to cut ties, banks to freeze accounts, and landlords to evict offices. Membership has dropped sharply, down to roughly 20,000 to 25,000 active members across all groups as of recent years. Many younger Japanese see joining as outdated and risky. Yet the Yakuza remain embedded in society in ways other mafias never achieved. Their headquarters are public, bosses' names are known, some even appear on TV. They've inspired countless films, manga, and anime, from the Yakuza Papers to modern series like The Way of the House Husband, where a retired gangster tries, and fails, to live a normal life. So are the Yakuza still dangerous? Yes, especially in finance, politics, and organized crime abroad. But they're also a fading anachronism, a relic of old Japan trying to survive in a hyper-modern, highly policed society. They once filled gaps left by war, poverty, and rigid social norms. Today, those gaps are smaller, and the price of belonging is higher than ever. If you found this dive into the shadowy world of the Yakuza interesting, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive story.